What do you think is the sort of big opportunity? Where would you be sort of focusing if you were in your early 20s? Like, what's your advice on this? You've given us the mindset and so on, but what are maybe perhaps a bit more of the practicalities?
Well, I think if you want to work in technology and if you want to work in AI very specifically, and you haven't made a choice of domain, the biggest thing for me is I want Britain to be the best place in the world for the adoption of AI. We should be the absolute best at it. We have lots of the ingredients for doing so. And so to me, the biggest thing would be pick a domain that you're really excited about, and just go really lean into that. Understand the domain deeply, but always do so with the mindset of how can technology make this domain and AI make this domain radically better. And if you're able to do that, whether you come at it from a AI first point of view or a domain first point of view, so whether you go and work in medicine first and then think about the AI bit, just constantly be vigilant, think about how technology can make it better, but gain that deep domain understanding, because to me it feels very clearly that a huge amount of where opportunity will be in the future is going to be in how we apply technology in ways that actually make a difference to human experiences in lots of different domains.
Do you think the development of AI is more similar to nuclear or to the internet?
I actually think this is a slightly. I'm gonna chicken out of the question on this one. I think it's a genuinely open question still, and the reason I say that is to make it slightly technical. I think it is currently still unclear to me whether most of the opportunity and risk of AI will come from one big model, which is scaled and scaled and scaled and become bigger and bigger and bigger, so that it's sort of like nuclear, which is this big thing, but it's only one thing, or a handful of plants that you generate, and that can create lots of opportunity or risks. Or whether a lot of the value and opportunity and risk of AI comes from not its bigness, its scaling, but from its diffusion. You get lots of small models, all of them can do really important things, and in the right hands it can do lots of positive things, in the wrong hands it can do a lot of terrible things. That's a lot more like the internet and cyber, which is it's not a totemic, singular or concentrated opportunity or risk, it's a diffused opportunity and risk. Whether it's the former, the nuclear example, or whether it's the latter, the internet example, is up for grabs. It hasn't been answered conclusively. Some of the questions you asked about AGI, where you get performance in terms of scaling models, or whether you get it from other techniques, including small models with distillation, fine-tuning, those are really important inputs into this question, but the answer is currently uncertain. Yeah.
I think it'll move towards the latter. I mean, that's obviously that's the sort of great hope of it as well.
Yeah.
But I just think it could be a major moment, and it could be like sort of basically new rails for the economy, right?
Yeah.
Like that's the sort of like great sort of hope of it. Obviously there are risks and so on.
Yeah.
What's on a more personal level, what do you want to achieve as, through your kind of parliamentary and ministerial career, right? Like what are the things when you almost wrote down that first 12, 15 ideas, what was on there?
Look, so the big picture thing, whenever all political careers end in failure. So whenever my political career ends, the thing I want to look back and say that through something that I did, I was able to change the trajectory of Britain's productivity. And I was able to do that by changing the aspiration and ambition of kids across this country. And that's the sort of very high level thing that I think we can do. And I think it's in some ways in our gift to do so, because as I said, I think the biggest input into it is culture. And culture is simply a function of what we talk about and how we act and who we praise and what we find valuable. So that to me is the biggest thing. And in terms of specifics that we're focused on AI in particular, there are three big things that are kind of broad thematic buckets for the list. One is just get a scale of AI infrastructure that is table stakes. If you don't have enough data centers, if you don't have enough compute, if you don't have enough talent, and if you don't have enough of just the basic inputs, you're not even on the table. So
and a lot of those are government.
A lot of them are government mediated in some way or another. So the first thing is just get on the table by having scale. The second thing is don't just have scale, but have Britishness. So people call it sovereignty or whatever else the kind of policy term is. For me, the question is simply, does this country have strategic leverage? In 3 years' time, we're sitting at the table with the United States, with China, with Taiwan, with South Korea, with Germany, with France, with the Dutch. Can we stand up and say, we've got some chips on this table?
Yeah.
And so that is a very, very specific second aspiration. And the third thing, which is the most critical thing, is I would love for us to be in a place where in 5 years' time, in 10 years' time, we'll look back and we say people across this country felt that technology wasn't something done to them, but done by them. And as a result, we built a durable consensus that technology is the driver of progress and dignity for people across this country. Because the thing in Britain over the last 2 decades, as I said, is the opportunity wasn't spread. And as a result, the consensus behind technology was very weak and shallow. And so whenever things turn, there is no support that technology and progress and innovation are drivers of prosperity and dignity for us. And when you don't have that,